Gary wasn't sure that writing his book was actually worth the effort, so maybe he should just completely give up at this point. Well, maybe not. That's the reason why in today's video we are going to discuss 3 self-publishing skills that pay off forever. This is Chris Barrett from selfpublishingmadeeasynow.com, where self-publishing doesn't have to be so hard. So the thing is, Gary, he lives in Pennsylvania, and he writes self-help books. Now, I can relate a little bit to Gary since I also have written books within this similar genre, not his exact subgenre, but within a similar genre, and also at the same time, I'd also lived in Pennsylvania when I was really small. And so I enjoyed discussing a little bit of this with Gary. The thing was, Gary was trying to motivate himself to finish writing his very first book that he was doing on psychology. It was a psychological health, self-help book, and he was trying to get through the entire process there. But the problem was he was so focused on this specific book, and he really didn't see how it was adding that much value to the world. After all, there were so many other books on this particular subject, and his focus was on this specific area. It was very short term. So the thing is, he had a few ideas in his book that were new ideas that he really would like to see get out into the world, and if it didn't, people would never discover these things. In other words, each and every one of us have something to teach the other people around us. We are all experts at something, even if that something is just being an expert at being ourselves or knowing certain things that we know, and that there are many people in the world who would benefit. And in the case of Gary, he knew that there was quite a few of these points, or at least a few of them within his book or the book that as he was continuing to work on it, that he could get out into the world. But then he was thinking that a good majority of the text was focused on things and skills and self-help ideas that had already been explored in previous books. So the first thing he tried to do in order to motivate himself was just to set and use the Pomodoro technique, which is something I teach also, which is you work for 25 minutes, take a 5-minute break, work for 25 minutes, take a 5-minute break. There are many apps that do this, and this is a very powerful technique. But the problem was he really didn't have a why involved. He didn't really understand at a deep level what exactly the long-term impact could be of what exactly he was doing with writing this book and the consequences of it. And so he lost track, and it worked for about a day, but after that, not so much. The second thing was he tried reading other self-help books in the same genre, which I completely agree. I think it's a wonderful idea to explore and read. And one of the things you quickly notice is that a lot of these books also have the same ideas that other of these books happen to have. So maybe there was somebody at some point in history who came up with the first original idea with some of the self-help things, but then they're massaged and moved in different forms and different voices as we move forward in time. And new science research also tells us new things about the brain and the body in order to help us write better books that are in alignment with the actual latest scientific research that is coming out. But the thing was, after reading all of this, he still saw just so many ideas, and really a lot of the ideas were things that he had included in his book, and he was thinking, well, what's the point if you have all of these bestsellers that are out there that are sort of hitting upon the same idea? And that left him feeling a bit helpless. So what happened was, he was watching some of my YouTube videos, and as I always comment, you can get my free self-publishing secrets checklist in order to help you sort of see that long-term vision of where things are going and the steps to get there. And so he grabbed a copy of the checklist, and as a result, you get on my email list, and we go back and forth. Sometimes with many people on my email list, we just email each other back and forth. You talk about what problems you have, and we sort of look through different solutions and options like that. For a lot of people who don't want to do a discovery session or connect one-on-one, don't ever have any intention of buying anything at any point, which is just fine, but the ability just to go back and forth and discuss. And there were a couple of things that were clearly missing in terms of Gary's situation. And the first and biggest one was that his whole focus was all in the short run. And that's one of the big reasons why we're specifically talking about 3 self-publishing skills that pay off forever. And so one of the skills, and I don't know, it could be skills or it could be benefits. It's hard to say which way, but at least on the benefit front, one of them is if your books are optimized and you're putting them onto the market, this forever is really the idea that those books will continue to sell on a monthly basis. You'll continue to getting income coming in, passive income that you're really doing absolutely nothing to get. Optimized book, putting ads up, those ads run against the books, they earn more money than you pay in the ads, and then it just turning the crank. That's one book. And then how many years is the book going to sell? And the thing that amazes me is even books that are addressing really old subjects, even books that are even not completely optimized, will continue to sell in the long run as long as it's in the correct niche, that we're targeting that sub-niche and some of those keywords correctly. And that was a really important point that I was dealing with Gary's book, was that some of the keywords he was considering for his title were not particularly optimal. But this idea of once that book is optimized and on the market, it provides an income. So you have your first thing that's paying off forever, one of the big benefits on the self-publishing front. The second thing is that the skills you learn regarding marketing, this marketing and sales side of thing, they can be applied to any online business or any business in general. So the skills that we're learning with self-publishing, they are not isolated to just self-publishing. It's the very same skills that you're going to use if you decide to branch off. If you wanted, for example, in Gary's case, he could teach courses or he could do one-on-one coaching and with different clients. There's all sorts of options available for him regarding this particular topic. So the skills that he learned, if you're listening to the podcast and you're following the YouTube channels that are addressing this subject, and you're going through lots and lots of material on this, reading the most popular books on the subject, that over a period of time, if you're putting it into practice, you're going to get very good at this. And the other thing that's important to remember, it's that we don't learn everything immediately. It takes a long period of time consistently learning. I would say probably using about a third of your time focused on learning new skills, and as you're implementing those skills, which is one of the reasons why sometimes having a coach with my one-on-one clients, we specifically go back and forth in order to help you implement these skills with regards to exactly your book, to make sure that you're optimizing it, getting it ready to sell, and marketing it properly in order to maximize what's going to happen in the long run for your book. But these skills, once you've learned them, you have them forever. And this is something that so many people, including Gary, had lost sight of. But let's move on to the third point, the third key issue. It's the value that you pass on through your books. Now, granted, it's a benefit, not a skill, but still, you get the point. The benefit is that you're giving these ideas or these stories that you have out into the world, and that you're able to take them and pushing them out there. These ideas, you're going in. What you're functionally doing is you're taking things that are in your head, and through the form of writing and your audiobooks and the paper, it's going out into the world, into libraries and these places where it can reach thousands, maybe millions of people being exposed to the ideas that you have. Now, I suggest this is one of the reasons you have responsibility to put things out into the world that are of quality, that people likely want to actually wish to read, and things that will move the world in a more positive direction. This is one of the reasons there are some negative books, and I would not recommend writing those sorts of books, but positive books that are pushing the world into a positive direction. And your stories are phenomenal. They give people in pain the ability to escape from that pain into a world, a universe that you're creating with your specific books. Or in self-help, you're able to help people deal and cope with the problems that they have by learning the absolute best skills and hopefully some ideas that you have. And you have to remember, this is an important one, even if other books have been written saying very similar or nearly identical things as to what you're saying, they haven't done it with your voice, your marketing, so you're still going to be reaching people that have never even heard of those other authors. I've heard it so many times. People will say, look, why should I write a book on this? Because somebody's already done it. And the answer is, it's because they aren't you. Your voice is unique. Your stories are unique. We're not talking about ripping off and writing exactly word for word what they have, but we are saying taking the concepts and the ideas and implementing it and putting it into your book in a way that it hasn't been done before. And you can do this and have impacts on generations to come. Keep in mind, if we're talking about like a self-help book in particular, when you read it and apply it, it will impact not just you, but it impacts, and this is the thing I was pointing out to Gary, it will impact your children, your family, your friends. Other people may also read the book, but all of these people will be getting benefit out of it. So a book that, for example, if you're doing a book on exercise and diet and these things like that, by putting them into practice, you're able to live a longer life. So the people who read the book and implement it, they're able to live a longer, healthier life, spending more time with their family and friends, and really making a difference in the world. So you have to keep in mind that your books can pay off forever. The impact that these books can have is massive, both in the financial side where you're earning passive income, both in terms of the marketing skills and setting you up to be in a great position come the future. If you wish to try other businesses or expand this business at fully understanding, you're learning the fundamental concepts and a very easy way to get into the business and marketing and sales side of the internet, or in real life as well, not just in the digital world, and then also passing these ideas on to future generations. And really it all starts with just breaking things down, keeping this vision in mind, but having these easy steps that I like to hit here. And that's one reason why you should definitely grab a copy of my absolutely free self-publishing secrets checklist that I have in the description. You pay absolutely nothing, and we can come in dialogue with each other if you would like. You don't have to. There's no real requirement there. I provide lots of free value, and strangely enough, after enough free value is done, some people like to buy and some people don't. And that is completely okay. I just need to make that really clear, because sometimes people will apologize. Chris, I've been on your email list for so long. Chris, I've been getting all your amazing content, but I just haven't ever purchased. And my point is, look, there's no obligation at all. And this is an important point. You should never apologize for choosing not to buy. My only thing is, when you're ready, we're able to take things to the next level. But if you're not ready, then it's best just to sit and learn until you are ready. And that's an important point. You should never be pressured into anything. You should just make up your own mind when you feel ready to go about moving to the next step if you want to supercharge your business. But the checklist, this free checklist, is a fantastic start, and it will also get you access to my amazing newsletter that goes out and direct contact with me as well. So no cost whatsoever, all the value completely free. So go ahead and check that out if you wish to move your self-publishing business, if you wish to move your books forward, if you can get a vision as well, just like Gary did. But let's get back to Gary. So Gary started writing again, okay? So he was still having some difficulty holding focus, but what happened was he put out his long-term goals, the things that this book was going to give him, and future books. In reality, it's not writing one book, it's writing multiple books that's going to make the win, but at least getting that first book out. And he wrote it on the wall, so he would have like a vision board sort of idea, where you have this idea of this is the vision, this is what exactly I want to achieve and why I want to do it. Really honing in on the why behind it all. And that really opened it up. That suddenly motivated him. And so what happened was he was actually able to complete this book. And my latest time I was following up with him, he was able to get the book actually onto the market. Now, he still has some optimization work to go. I see that the title and some of the keywords are still not exactly perfect, and we definitely need to get the ads going against it. But the fact is, he's been doing an amazing job so far of making a whole lot of progress regarding his specific book. And I can see that he has a really promising future ahead, specifically since he's targeting a very profitable niche that's using some of the keyword methods that I teach personally on how exactly to really hone in on this to pull in that audience. But the thing is that so many writers, so many people who are interested in self-publishing, they just don't understand. They think that it's too late. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to tell you specifically that the once in a lifetime opportunity to self-publish is coming, and you can learn more about it right over here. I'll see you there.